Good afternoon to all. This is the first panel of the ebankIT Summit, like Marta said, and for the next minutes, we will talk about the two words of the moment that are artificial intelligence. Since AI is a very broad topic, even in medicine that will cure all diseases, we will focus our discussion on how the banking sector views AI currently at the moment. If they are using or intend to use AI internally, and how to manage the risks involving AI. Okay? Start the presentations, myself and my panelists, colleagues. I'm Nuno. I joined the ebankIT 3 years ago as a technical director, and my background includes more than 25 years in 2 banks in Portugal. At my left, I have Mr. Atul Varde, Chief Information Officer at Servus Credit Union in Canada. Please do a brief introduction of you.
Yeah. Thank you, and good afternoon. So Atul Varde, I'm in the Chief Information Officer role at Servus Credit Union. We recently became the largest credit union in Canada. And I can see a lot of, excuse me, mergers and amalgamations happening in our country in the next little while. So that title of being the largest will change over time. What I think is more important is we like to think of ourselves as the largest and the strongest. And I would pay a lot more emphasis on the second piece. We would like to continue to be in that strong financial position. We're about 40 billion-ish, somewhere over there in managed assets today, 145 branches, and we serve almost the entire province of Alberta in Canada. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atul. On the center, Mr. Dorin Petrovici, Coordinating Director of Digital Projects at Banca Transilvania in Romania. Please, brief introduction.
Thank you for the invitation, first of all. We have been partners for quite some time now, more than 8 years, and we really appreciate your invitation. Banca Transilvania, against some expectations, maybe is not a blood bank, but is the biggest financial group in Southeastern Europe and the biggest in Romania. And we evolved quite a lot. We have a very strong market share, and we are very focused on technology and people and technology. I'm in Banca Transilvania for 23 years almost now, so I took a lot of positions, and I'm in charge now with data analysis, retail project, and the cards part.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Martin Schmidt is the lead architect of Hypothekarbank Lenzburg, HBL for friends, in Switzerland. Even though you're not the biggest bank in Switzerland, you are a different bank because you are a bank and a bank service provider. Can you explain us what that is?
Exactly, yes. We are luckily not the largest bank. This makes us still small and agile enough so that we can serve other smaller finance institutes as well. And as Nuno already said, we are not only a bank, we are also a core banking system provider. So we build our own core banking platform and have the ebankIT together with ebankIT since 8 years ago, I think. And this we sell to other banks as well. So we build our own software and we sell it to others as well. This makes us special and makes us very interesting for the how to say, the smaller finance institutes that want to do something with us. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So let's talk a bit and hear your opinion on AI being used on the banking industry. We all hear about AI. The game changer is coming. We all use, for our personal use, AI tools. All the companies want to extend AI as their offer. Okay, so AI is the buzzword of the moment. And Gen AI is becoming our newest friend. Based on this, how do you see the importance of AI for the bank industry as a whole, and as we know it nowadays? And why do you want to have it and offer to your clients? Why? The reason.
Okay. Sure, I can start. Basically, we see this as a three-legged stool, if you wish. The biggest potential is in increasing operational efficiency, just being able to do things faster, cheaper, better. Tremendous potential there, a once-in-a-generation sort of technology, maybe even more impactful than that. We're seeing lots of really great results in the risk management space. I'll speak to that later. We managed to train a bit of a neural net ourselves, and the results surprised us quite a bit. And then perhaps the most promising piece and the most tricky piece is the last one, to actually put it in a customer-facing, in a member-facing context. And I'd like to divide that into two pieces. There's transactional banking, which is more straightforward. Then there's advisory banking, which is more tricky, but it also makes it more interesting. So those three. I'll stop there, and we'll talk more about it as we go along. So.
Well, I think AI is like teenage sex, if you will. Everybody is talking about it. Less people understand it, and fewer people have done it.
Yeah, that's it. So, that's exactly it.
Yeah. But it's indeed a game changer, and I think we can say is an industrial revolution. Is because it has started a few years ago, and it's interesting to see how the tone of voice of people have evolved versus the AI. Initially,
AI.
we talked about it shy and curious, maybe scared at some point. And nowadays, everybody's talking about it in an operational manner, what they intend to do, what are the things exactly they need to use it for. So it's been quite a ride in this direction. And it's a revolution because this is the impact will not be incremental here. We are speaking about a new approach, an autonomous system that is able to learn, and with each iteration to get better and better, if you will.
With some risks, but yes.
Indeed. McKinsey estimates that until 2028, it will generate like 3 to 5 trillion throughout all the industries, and again, in the banking sector, something like 300 to 400 billion. So indeed, it will have a radical impact.
Change. And for you, HBL?
I also think it's very important. I think it's not that there will be something that others will not do. I don't think that our bank will be able to do something that others will not do, but we have to do it because all others are doing it.
The market demands.
So it's important, because if banks do not invest in AI, they will miss the boat. Yeah, they will.
And which areas do you think will be more prepared for AI in the bank industry?
I think, for example, for the customer self-service, it is very important. So customers can find the right product, for example, so they can be more guided. They will find the information that is otherwise difficult to find. And maybe as well in the product selling, there I could also see a lot of benefit where we can use the most of it. Also? That's from the bank side, and of course from the development side. There I see also a lot of potential use cases. We are already working
to apply
on
AI. Yeah. And you, Mr. Atul, which areas are you?
I think the lowest hanging fruit is just in making employees way more productive. And we were invited by Microsoft to join their Copilot early access program almost 2 years ago. And we strategically rolled it out to about 20% of the organization or so. And I was just amazed at how people started to use it in such fantastic ways. We had wealth management. Within a week, they kind of figured out, hey, we can do this automatic transcription thing, and we don't have to take manual minutes of KYC meetings, and that saved us a ton of hours. Recently, I saw marketing do an entire campaign using digital content, and the results are fantastic. And that would have saved us a pile of money. We're using it as a search engine, a better search engine for internal documents. Like, it's just making people more productive. Like, I don't want to get into the debate of, is this going to replace us? Like, who knows? But what I do know is people and companies who get really good at this will be far more effective than people and companies who don't. And so we want to be on this side as much as we can be. So that's where I see the lowest hanging fruit and the most accessible pieces.
Okay, on your point of view, Dorian?
I think that implementing AI is a mindset. It's not about necessarily the areas in which will produce the most. Of course, there are some more evident, like customer interactions, and because if you think about AI has started with the large language models and so. But still, I think that the impact is cross-institution. And adopting a mindset that is willing to embrace AI, as you said, by, I don't know, using Copilot and other tools, and adopting a mindset where you identify the tasks that you want to optimize and outsource them maybe to a system that you not fully understand and control, really needs a change in the mindset. And I think this would be the biggest catalyst in an institution, having the right mindset to embrace the AI.
And to see if you're prepared for it, can you share your own examples, internal examples, projects, or on roadmap that you are applying using AI?
Indeed, we as Banca Transilvania see AI as a strategic enabler, and we invested a lot, as Atul said, for quite some time. We have partnered with Microsoft and Copilot, and we were one of the pioneers in the Romanian banking industry by introducing AI in customer communication through RPA and also large language models. And nowadays, our customers, almost 60% of them, manage to do the interaction through self-service.
Okay.
So, but still, this is the beginning. We have a lot of other projects that we focus on, from, I don't know, process automation to...
one by one, executed one by one, or several at the same time?
Several
because
at
of
the same
risk?
time, because I think that this is not something that you done at centralized level, but I think that you need to do it in each area of the institution. So we're working on a lot of AI projects. For example, we have the application, our wallet application, which is BT Pay, and we were looking for a way to make things more easy and understandable for the customer. And in this regard, we have launched a chat, and we have invested in giving it AI in order for this central piece to be the main knowledge learning path for all the customers that can deliver whatever they need to know about their application.
And you'll continue to invest.
Of course.
Yeah. Martin.
Yeah, we as well, as I already said, the customer self-service is very well in the focus, so that the customers can find the information, what is needed to get the mortgage, what is, how do I lock my card if
You're developing, or it's already in production?
No, we are working on that. Currently, we have maybe the grandfather of AI already in production, which is called ML, so machine learning. We have already in production. We use it for fraud detection and for money mule, as well as for a customer affinity model, which was quite successful. So we trained an ML to get some insights, what products customers might be interested in, and we had quite good success rates on this one. So we are still further...
For sure be another one.
Exactly.
And you, Mr. Atul, inside Servus?
Yeah, so yes to the machine learning piece as well. That happened a few months ago, and it was a grassroots thing. One of our engineers decided to teach himself this XG Boost. It's an open source machine learning algorithm. And he took a whole bunch of 5 years of money movement, fraud management data that we had, and he trained this thing. And we have it in prod now. And what it did, which really amazed me, is that it lowered the rate of false positives dramatically compared to what we had before. Right. So it actually immediately provided a ton of business value. And we didn't plan this, but when I look at the system, you know, that's really going to help us in the Canadian RTR, real-time rail, sort of launch, because we could probably use the same thing to onboard to that next year.
Other projects or it's in roadmap?
Yes, we were a partner with Salesforce. So about in December of last year, they invited us to join this Agentforce launch. So we built Agent end-to-end in the credit card space, and we took it live. It was a very, I don't think the use case is terribly important over there, but the important thing is the team learned how to build one of these end-to-end and deploy it. Super curious how we could use it in the contact center. We have a lot of turnover in the contact center. There's a lot of people that come in, stay for a length of time. There's a lot of overhead there. If we could sort of move some of those questions to a reliable
Automated
agent that knows what it doesn't know, knows when it needs to hand off to a human, and those are big ifs, that would be tremendous ROI.
Yeah. So you all sit your AI projects in OpenAI platforms, like OpenAI itself, Google AI, and you don't build your own AI models.
I think the hybrid model is the model that most of the banking institutions are trying to build now, because AI needs a lot of resources to drive. And,
to implement the models or to integrate? Where is the biggest effort? Creating the model?
Well, it depends in this hybrid model, because you need, of course, cloud-based platforms, which means scalability, which means power. But in the same time, of course, you realize you're dealing with data that is sensitive at some point. And you cannot outsource this, but you also need the knowledge, and you need the tools, so you need smart tools to do this in-house. I think for the scalability of the AI, you would need strategy, you would need operating model, you would need data, you would need, of course, control. But the last one, and I think it's the most important nowadays, is talent. So talent management in the evolution of the AI these days will be critical. And
it's easy to get skills with?
Investing in people that are able to have the right mindset and know how to drive AI will be critical for the scaling of the AI. So I think that the challenge that will not for us, but for everybody in every market, I think talent management will be one of the conundrums will define the evolution.
And also to find the right people to be a
Of
challenge.
course. And regarding people, I may say something that may sound counterintuitive, but I think that AI will make us more human, because it will take us away the tasks that we are not...
Repeated task.
Exactly, that we are not necessarily focused or not like them, and it will allow us more time to focus on the human interaction or the tasks that really define us.
Yeah.
I consider this very important point. Yeah, I think the customer interaction, for example, we are still a very traditional bank. So while other banks are closing their branches, we are opening new ones. And I think that's very important because
for the customer relation.
Yes, because a lot of customers still like the human interaction. And if we have AI supporting us with the tool set, we have more time for the customer interaction, and I think that's important. Yeah. So there I see it as a tool that helps, and not as a replacement.
Yeah. But hybrid model also, not only relying on an open AI in cloud.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah, definitely hybrid model. So we're partners with Microsoft, we're partners with Salesforce, with Databricks. But there is lots of room for doing things on your own. So this machine learning, neural network, fraud management thing is one thing. We're also getting connected to groups like the Vector Institute in Toronto. Professor Hinton, the Nobel laureate, is one of the founders. And you get to connect with a whole bunch of really bright people, bounce ideas off, and learn a lot, especially eventually we're going to put this in front of members, customers. And we're going to assume the risk of hallucinations or whatever. And I believe we can find a way to manage that risk. But no one's really figured out exactly how. But being part of that community helps us develop those guardrails.
That's my next question, because AI is wonderful. It will do marvelous things, but it has a dark side, right? There are some flaws that can be generated as an output of AI. If some data is exposed, if some wrong answer is provided to the client, and then you will do that procedure, it will be a risk for you and can take you to serious financial issues, reputation, compliance. How do you guarantee that it's through that hybrid modules, or how do you manage these AI flaws? How do you manage them?
So I'll just maybe continue. So certainly the connection to the Vector Institute would help a lot. I'm told some of the big consulting accounting shops are now getting into AI assurance. We'll see how that goes, and I think it'll take some time to mature. There's at least one Canadian company that is now a small company, startup, that is starting to sell AI insurance. So they'll look at your system, and if the AI malfunctions, you can buy insurance up to a certain limit and that sort of thing. So I'm sure the insurance industry is looking at this as a great new revenue source, and that's good. I think most of the risk, I think, is in advisory banking. Because I know I do it myself. I go to my Copilot app, and I'll ask it all kinds of questions on every subject known to man.
You're not an institution.
And I love but you need to know enough that you can spot the hallucination. So there is something there in terms of accreditation of a consumer to make sure, I think you're okay to handle the risk. And there's a parallel there. Decades ago, when discount brokerages, online discount brokerages, I think Charles Schwab in the US, that was a time when we said, okay, you can go trade, and you could lose your shirt over it, but we think you can assume the risk, and you can assume the risk. So there is this won't be the first time we're doing it. We just have to figure it out. And I think one of the newly appointed Canadian Minister of AI, we do have one, there was a quote from him a couple of days ago, and he said, let's not over-index the risk piece and lose sight of the opportunity. So,
okay, on your point of view, how do you overcome these AI flaws? By testing more, by adapting those hybrid models?
I very much like this Minister of AI thing. This shows the importance that Canada is putting on this topic, and it's very good. Indeed, the biases, the privacy, and regulations are kind of like the most important topics now regarding risks. But I think this whole types of risk were present for different technologies as well when they appear. And like every technology, it will get better and better as time goes along. I'm very optimistic regarding AI.
You consider it as a bug? Is that? Sorry? It's a simple bug that you will solve it? If I can say, I ask your bank, how or where should I put my money? And the AI say, go to the other bank. How do you deal with this? How do you deal with this?
Well, I would need to know more about the person that asked this question. It's not about just this blunt, I don't know, consultancy, let's call it. But I think that controlling this AI needs to go from data to governance to monitoring and to humans. So these are the 4 pillars that we think we need to get AI or to exploit AI in an optimistic manner. Data, because everything comes from data. All these hallucinations and all this biases that we identify have something in the way it was fed to the AI. Governance, because of course you need to have the whole process of understanding and making the models transparent, and I don't know, knowing how to operationalize them is important. Monitoring, because without the monitoring you cannot close the feedback loop, and you cannot add the result back in the loop. And humans, because in the end we believe that humans will still be in charge, and AI will be a facilitator.
Not a replacement.
A lot of critical processes in banking have 4 or 6 I review principles, and I think this is also important if you have decisions made by AI, so that you have a second eye pair that is confirming or checking, and that could be a human or maybe later another AI. Yeah,
controlling
maybe.
AI.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Okay, so just a final question for you. You've already provided some guidelines on this, but how do you see AI being used in the banking industry? If it to still with margin projects just to test it or if in 3 or 5 years, 80% of your processes will be based on AI?
Like I said, it's a generational change, a bit of an industrial revolution, as was said. I think it'll basically be embedded in every single process in financial services. The rate at which it's going, yes, 5 years maybe.
AI is here to stay.
It's here to stay. We'll learn to live with it. I'm especially bullish on this agentic AI thing. I think there's a way to describe it. It is know me and do it for me. So, to have this person who's by your side, your assistant, that they know you enough, and then they'll go do things for you. Man, if that promise was realized, I think it'll force us to reimagine as a society a lot of things.
Rethink banking offer?
Pardon me?
Rethink banking offer?
Well, I think it may go beyond that. I think it may force us to reimagine what jobs mean, what work means, what money means, and how they connect to each other. It'll be quite the adventure.
80%.
Yeah,
or more.
Somewhere over there.
So. Same opinion? 80% of your process and offers and whatever will be
indeed
based on AI?
Totally agree with this point of view. I think that basically McKinsey, Boston Consulting Group, Accenture, all of these powerhouses see AI as maybe one of the most impactful evolution in the financial industry. It is estimated that its impact on profit will be somewhere between 115 to 350 billions in the following 3 to 5 years. But still,
it's an estimation like the other one that said that AI will cure all diseases, or it's based on real?
I think at some point, I'm coming back to the sex thing. It's like wishful thinking, at some point. So, it depends on everybody what kind of view has on this. But still, I think that we in banking industry have been transacting since the beginning the most basic currency that we have been transacting is trust. Mm-hmm. And this has never changed throughout hundreds of years. And my personal opinion is that this is directly correlated with the human interaction. Mm-hmm. And trust will always be there as human interactions will be there. So we in Banca Transilvania believe more in human AI. The AI that is put in service for humans to make humans better. I think this is the key that will lead to the evolution of the AI. And when we will reach this phase, we will all trust it and use it. And
to help human, think of people first, and not replace people.
Human AI.
Yeah, absolutely agree with you. Yeah. I also see it like this. I think this banking was always a people business, and I think it will keep being a people business. Yeah. Even younger generations maybe more tend to do everything digitally, but
people is the key.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So AI will help, it will for sure come, and it will for sure make certain processes smoother or will help speeding up things. Yeah. The speed, I think, will increase. So getting a mortgage will be no longer a process that takes several weeks, so it will be maybe faster. 1 day or whatever. But at the end, I think it's still talking with a human and interacting with a human.
So people count. So thank you very much. We are at the end of this panel discussion. We are running out of time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your participation and your experience. Marta, you can join the stage. Thank you very much to all.